everyone. I am Lindsay Lewis, editor of Building Enclosure. Thanks for listening along with us today. This podcast is sponsored by Johns Manville. Every roof is our reputation. I'm honored to be joined by my guest, Jason Wilen, an associate principal at Klein and Hoffman in Chicago. Jason is here today on behalf of the Coalition for Sustainable Roofing to chat with me about the organization and what they're working on lately. Jason, thanks for sitting with me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Lindsay. I appreciate the opportunity to talk about roofing today.
So to kick off, can you tell us a little bit about the Coalition for Sustainable Roofing and what's the organization's main purpose?
So COSR, or the Coalition for Sustainable Roofing, represents North American manufacturers across a variety of roofing products. And we advocate for a sustainable roofing systems and a sustainable approach to roofing. And our mission is to ensure that roofing solutions are research-driven, environmentally responsible, and practical for architects, contractors, and building owners, and obviously manufacturers.
So with that being said, what have you guys been working on lately? Can you tell us the latest?
Sure. Our primary focus is sustainability. And the way we define it is using resources without harming future generations. COSR is currently engaged in projects related to our key areas of impact: sustainability, urban heat mitigation, decarbonization, resiliency, recyclability, and energy efficiency. And doing all of those things in a balanced way. We're also, in our efforts, meeting with local representatives and regional representatives to share the value of research-based insights in shaping roofing policies, particularly tailoring them to local climate conditions to best accommodate the needs of architects, contractors, and building owners, and to best service individual buildings in the state that we find a particular building in a particular region, optimizing roof systems to perform best where they're installed, and for the particular building that they're installed on. And we're looking to release new materials in 2026 to support the needs of designers and specifiers, referring to the key guides that we produce in next year.
Now, you mentioned decarbonization, so I'd like to chat about that for a little bit. What are some of the main ways that the coalition works to decarbonize the built environment?
Well, there's several ways to contribute to decarbonization. Promoting longer lasting materials is primary. Extending roof service lives to reduce embodied carbon from avoiding, frequent replacements. That's really important. Proper installation, too, is key to longevity. And being a forensic architect who specializes in roofing and waterproofing kind of areas of the building enclosures, what we see is failed roof systems, roofing materials often result from not selecting the right product initially, or for installation practices that are not tailored for the particular conditions on a particular project. Supporting recycling and material recovery initiatives, too, is also very important. Really what we're after is finding ways to avoid having roofing and roof materials end up in landfills. Finding other ways to deal with those materials is very important. And lastly, what I'll mention on this topic, really connecting the science with practice. That's really what we're about. Ensuring decarbonization strategies work for architects, that they're well understood, that they're constructible, right? Practices that contractors can't easily achieve are less desirable than working on a balanced and approach that understands the materials have to be appropriate, but also installable. And then lastly, working for roof assemblies that owners can maintain easily, and enhance the operation of a building.
Now, looking at the resiliency focus, can you go over roofing membranes and their role in helping buildings achieve resiliency?
Sure, sure. I mean, really, if you think about it, roofs are the first line of defense for buildings. And what's often amazed me, kind of as a professional with a science-based approach to things, if you really think about it, a roof membrane, if you look at a cross section of a roof membrane, it's so thin, and yet those membranes can be out in the environment for decades and function well, right? It's amazing if you really think about it. And high quality membranes, what we're always working for is in making improvements in our processes and materials, to allow those membranes to help structures withstand severe weather. That seems to be increasing as the years go by. Temperature swings, winds, hail, more intense rain events. And if those membranes can withstand those natural disasters, that allows the buildings to stay dry, and ultimately their service life is extended, and requires less maintenance, cuts waste, and really allows building owners to rely on those investments, on those capital investments when they replace roofs, that they're going to get the performance that they expect, makes things more predictable, and really is a benefit to everyone in the built environment.
Now, has CoStar been seeing any trends recently in multifamily buildings?
Yeah, I mean, multifamily buildings are a common building type, and some of these things are applicable to other building types. But kind of the way I think of multifamily buildings, two ways, right? You have new constructions of buildings that are being built now, and certainly there's a focus on energy efficiency and occupancy comfort, and then exploring roofs as platforms for other things, as vegetative or landscapes, green roofs, you might hear that term, providing insulation, and by being designed properly, helping to improve indoor air quality, mitigate urban heat islands, those sorts of things. So that's certainly important in all buildings, but especially multifamily, where folks rely on that building type 24/7. Also looking at a trend for multifamily buildings to incorporate solar or other clean energy type systems. And then similar to other building types, long lasting materials like EPDM, for instance, being used to, again, extend those service lives and reduce maintenance, and trying to pair those materials that are high performance and long lasting, but there also happen to be good choices to pair with solar or green roofing, so that, again, this balanced approach where all the materials are working together to achieve a sustainable or resilient result.
Now, does CoStar work with any code adoptions at all? And if so, can you chat about that a little bit, how you work with that?
Yes, we do. Interesting topic. Code and codes and standards, and kind of legislative related activities are a big part of what CoStar gets involved with. It's hard work. The whole way that codes and standards get developed and then updated, it's a continuous process, and we have technical expertise and data And we advocate for codes to reflect real world performance and sustainability best practices. So in those arenas, there are many, many points of views and stakeholders that participate. And COSER, a primary mission of COSER is to advocate for these balanced, sustainable, resilient provisions to be adopted in building codes and to be maintained in building codes. And a key area in roofing and codes is the fact that some provisions are driven by climate zones where buildings are located, right? Principally in the energy code or energy conservation codes, high performance building standard, those sorts of things. And we advocate for codes that recognize climate differences rather than applying a one size fits all approach to all climate zones, which older energy codes have done. And what we're about is looking at evidence and performance data and climate specific realities, and then incorporating that those performance metrics into codes so that there's a freedom to design the balanced, high performance roof systems across all metrics, and not just from a energy standpoint or from a life safety standpoint or from a drainage standpoint. Is kind of looking at everything all at once and balancing all of those very important concerns and coming out with the best optimized, we like to say, roof systems, and kind of advocating for codes not to get in the way of that and standards, but rather enhancing those efforts.
Now, how about in-person events? Does COSER attend trade shows? Do you have your own shows that you host? Where can everyone find you?
We present at conferences within that relate to the built environment. A good example, in May of 2025, we were at the National Institute of Building Sciences with an audience comprised of architects, engineers, contractors, practitioners, policymakers, government officials, researchers, and building scientists. Those sorts of venues where everybody that has a stake in the built environment can understand our message and what we're advocating for. We also present at local and state roofing contractor associations, and we prepare abstracts and submissions for national conferences. I, as an example, I'm presenting at IBEX National Building Symposium in October, kind of advocating for this balanced approach that we spoke about. And kind of the areas that we like to present, again, are our 5 key issues: sustainability, urban heat mitigation, resilience, energy efficiency, and recycling.
Well, Building Enclosure and myself will be at IBEX Symposium in St. Louis next month. So
great.
I look forward to seeing you there too. Now, lastly, I do want to ask, how does COSER work with manufacturers?
So manufacturers are essential collaborators for COSER. We act as a neutral platform. Our work isn't about promoting one brand or product, but about raising the performance bar for the industry as a whole. By working together, we align manufacturers' innovations with sustainability and resiliency goals that architects, contractors, and building owners are really demanding these days. COSER was founded by 3 manufacturers: Carlisle, Johns Manville, and Amrise, formerly Wholesome, formerly Firestone. These companies have strong sustainability commitments and really wanted a broad product neutral platform. And leadership of member companies guides COSER's work, ensuring that all perspectives are represented.
Well, thank you again, Jason, for your time today.
Of course. Thank you so much for this opportunity. We Koser and me in particular can, talk about this stuff all day. So we appreciate the opportunity.
If anyone listening has any questions, please feel free to reach out to myself or Jason, and we'd love to continue the conversation. Until next time, visit us on buildingenclosureonline.com for your educational and technical information.